Marty, we're looking ahead to Luton, but just reflecting on the Christmas period, you spoke about the busy schedule and having to manage the demands of it. On reflection, how pleased are you with the way that the squad, dealt with those challenges?
Yeah, I guess that we can have definitely a feeling that we try our best with mixed results. Perhaps not full pot because we wanted the 12 points, but I think definitely we started well. I would say the first game, then perhaps the second game against Swansea was a difficult first half for us. We didn't get into the game the way we wanted, and we knew that Swansea was a good team starting the games. Perhaps the most important was to bounce back after a good trend of results. Then this third game against Norwich, good first half where we actually improved a lot our game in possession. That was something that we wanted to improve. In the second half, perhaps we lacked a little bit of this. We knew that Norwich will play at home, chasing a result will push, but perhaps we missed a little bit of more personality to be in possession, to try to keep longer sequences, to try to dominate the game a little bit more. And it was a bit sad to get this goal conceded in the last minutes of the game. But then I think that the team showed great character and great personality in the last game at home here. So I think the most important is that not only about the 7 points from those total of 12, but especially I think the way we reacted after the defeat against Swansea, the improvement that we made over the last 3 games has been definitely positive.
Over the last 10 games, of course, we've only suffered 1 defeat. What is the fundamental change, or is there a fundamental change that you feel has made us so difficult to beat after a challenging start?
Football is always complex because it's a combination of factors. So just to mention one will be not enough. But probably it's a mix of things, right? I think that usually this challenging period that we suffer during September, October, November made the team stronger mentally. So sometimes you grow through the adversity, and that was definitely the case. I think that not only mentally, but from a football perspective, in terms of training, in terms of the way we compete, I think that a lot of players notice what is championship about and what is required to win games as well in this league. And then there is obviously a situation that we cannot forget is about the amount of injuries we got during a period. Some of those players were getting back. Adaptation between the new players, the players were here before, so slowly this puzzle starts to look better. And now the next challenge is to understand that the job is not done yet, far from it, so that we need to achieve much more. We need to grow because other teams will grow. There is changes on other teams, there is managers, there is players coming in, and the challenge is daily. So we need to make sure that we're ready for it.
Turning to Luton Town, they've had a difficult season. They're on a difficult run of form. They've lost their last 3. They've only won 1 in 12 away from home in the league. How do you avoid that horrible word of complacency? And as soon as the word complacency is brought up in a pre-match interview, there is that natural suggestion regarding the match. How do you ensure that doesn't go into your dressing room?
Complacency, expectations, I think it's all about a very similar concept, right? I think that hopefully everybody understood because of, as I said, the growth that we experienced during the challenging times, that there is no place in this team, in this group for complacency. We know how ruthless can be this league. We know how easy it is to just drop 1% and then get punished. We saw a few days ago against Swansea. So we know, and if someone expects that because Luton performances away in terms of point has not been great, this will be an easy game, it's a big mistake. It will be a big mistake. So I'm sure that that's not where the players are. I'm sure that everybody knows that we need to probably improve the level of performance that we had against Watford. And I think that that's going to be a constant in the next weeks, that the level of challenge will just grow and grow because, as you said, expectations. Teams come here knowing that it's not easy, that now we're in a good trend. So that extra percent that they need to deliver makes things just much more difficult.
It isn't a derby, but there is that rivalry between the two clubs. Is that something you'd like your players to be aware of so they're not taken by surprise, perhaps some newer players?
Yeah, I think definitely it's always good to have this kind of rivalry, and I think that the fans enjoy that kind of games. For the players, I know as well that there is this extra feeling about trying to win these games for our fans. Perhaps for us now at the moment, the most important is to keep growing in this feeling that we can be very strong at home, because it was something that when I arrived to the club, I mentioned to the players. For a period, I would say last season, slowly we improve. Fortunately, the beginning of the season was not the case, but I think definitely now we feel that when we start the games, the atmosphere of the fans can really make a difference. And the fact that Loftus Road is a stadium where the fans are very close, that we know that we can just be very intense when we start the games. Perhaps that's what the focus at the moment is, to make sure that the position feels from minute one that it's not easy to get points from Loftus Road.
And looking forward now, what's the next target? Because the target has always been, since a challenging start, about trying to pull away, trying to close the gap. We've closed the gap, now we've increased the gap. What's the motivation from you towards the players? Is it towards increasing that gap, or are you starting to look ahead now?
The motivation is always try to be better every day on everything we do. Try to train better, try to be better as a team, try to attack better, try to defend better the set pieces, everything can be improved. So I think the eagerness, the desire to show that we can do everything better must be there beyond the table, beyond the points and everything. Because if we do better, the consequence will be that hopefully we're going to take and pick more points, and our position at the table will improve. So I think that instead of just looking at the points and the stats, which is an okay part of the game, my focus is always try to make sure that we focus on and off the pitch, how we can be better, how we can be stronger as a team, how we can build that culture where the most important thing, having a great respect for the position, is always us. And from there, try to make sure that we improve every day on what we do.
And just finally, in terms of team news, we know Liam Morrison and Steve Cook are out. And of course, Dembele and Cancelo will be later on in the season in terms of their return. Ronnie Edwards is now in and available from his perspective for selection. How are you viewing his availability?
Yeah, he came with a very good shape. Actually, we know what he has been doing as well at Southampton. Perhaps not playing a lot of minutes, but definitely training at high level. And he's been training today, showing great level as well. He's very motivated and really ready to contribute. So it's definitely good news. Good news that we could pick a very good player that early in the window, and ready to help us in a position that, unfortunately, as you said, we have been suffering a bit during the whole season. First with Jake and Fox, then with Liam and Cook. But finding solutions, I think that both Foxy and Jimmy has done amazing in the last couple of games. The fact that Jake is back and getting the rhythm, it's very important for us because he's a very important player for us. And then to have the addition of Ronnie, hopefully will give us the stability and give as well the calm for both Cook and Liam to be back in the best conditions.